Hi there, I'm Zara, and today I'm going to be talking about some of the manga I've been recently reading. So I decided I wasn't going to do another Black Butler video too soon after my last one because I was kind of getting sick of editing them and I keep fucking up the editing. Oh yeah, I've been getting a bit frustrated because the editing hasn't been going off as well as I thought it had, and the last video I thought I'd put the resolution up and I forgot to, and then I deleted the editing process, so then I couldn't go back and remake the video. Basically, I couldn't re-import it. Basically, yeah, so that was very frustrating. And then this video today, I think this is my fifth time recording it because it keeps not saving the video, and hence why we're on my computer can't cope with the high definition webcam. So I've decided I'm just gonna have the microphone in and just keep the webcam to the side because yeah, it's too much data for it basically at the moment, so it doesn't seem to be able to cope with it. Yeah, and then I've also just been looking for a job recently, and I finally got a job at least. But yeah, no, I'm just really knackered from everything that's been going on, and I'm just like, oh, I don't want to do any more Black Butler. I've got one video that needs to be edited for it, but like I was just like, oh, I don't really want to edit it right now. We'll just do something else. Yeah, so I wanted to relax and just discuss some of the manga I've been reading. I've been reading 3 manga in the past month: The Laid Back Camp, Strawberry Fields Once Again, and Sweet Blue Flowers. So I'm going to have a discussion, a review basically about each of these. Laid Back Camp is a manga that began publishing in July 2015 and is still running today. There are 12 volumes in the Japanese version. I've only read the first 3 because normally when I start a manga, I tend to buy the first 3 just to kind of see whether it's going to be worth getting the whole collection. And I will be getting the rest of the collection at some point when I have the money. The manga has also been adapted into an anime series, and that is a really beautiful series. I would recommend you watch it because it actually gives you all the colour that the manga doesn't have. The anime series began in January 2018 and is still running today. There is also a television drama based around the manga which started in January 2020. And this year there has been a virtual reality adventure game created based around the manga. The manga focuses around Nadeshiko, an energetic girl who is quite ditzy at times, but also turns out to be very intelligent as well, who befriends Rin, a quiet girl who enjoys camping by herself and often rides her Yamaha Vino moped to new camping spots. Nadeshiko meets Rin after she travels a long way to get to Mount Fuji, and she's so exhausted when she gets there because she's been cycling the whole way. She collapses and falls to sleep, and she wakes up when it's dark, and Rin has been there the whole day and been seeing Nadeshiko asleep on the bench and just thinking she's a very tough camper, but it turns out Nadeshiko is not. She just kind of just fell asleep there, and so Rin helps her out and they camp together until Nadeshiko's sister comes to pick her up. Nadeshiko enjoys the experience so much that she decides to join the outdoor activities circle, where she meets Chayaki and Ayo, the other 2 members of the club. They help Nadeshiko to learn how to camp, and they discuss all of the equipment that she needs basically, and they also discuss the cost of the equipment, which is quite important. I didn't fully understand at first why they were talking about the costs, but it turns out you slowly work out that, oh my god, it's very expensive starting up camping, and obviously these school kids don't have those kind of equipment and the money to do this, so they're having to try and find cheap ways to do it so that they can actually afford to go camping. Yeah. There are also 2 other important side characters: Sakura, Nadeshiko's older sister, who often drives her around in her Nissan Rasheen, and Enna, Rin's classmate, who tends to appear with her dog, Chikuwa. I originally got this manga because I really love camping, and I was a really big fan of camping when I was younger. So I some of my stories of when I was younger, we had a cool pop-up tent, and I think I slept in that in my bedroom for about, it must have been like 6 months. Like, that was my bedroom. My bedroom within my bedroom. And I also actually slept, I pretended I was camping and would sleep under my bed. Because, yeah, we had a bunk bed. And so I created like a little cave under the bunk bed. And it was really good fun. And I imagined it as camping. And I had like I had a camping bag there. And I also did like there was another time when we were living in South Yorkshire where I basically camped out in my garden for the whole summer. And I stayed out there so long that the rabbits broke in, nibbled through the tent, and I would wake up to find the rabbits right next to me. It was really strange. Yeah, so I'm a really big fan of camping. I'd actually really wanted to go camping just before coronavirus hit. I was like planning to go camping either to Ireland or Wales, and I wanted to do like a circuit around and go and visit loads of historical sites around there, so I could like learn a bit about their history. Because like I've lived in Scotland before, and I've obviously lived in England, and I wanted to learn about. I want to expand my history interest to like the whole of the United Kingdom, rather than just specific areas. Yeah, so, yeah, no, but the manga, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much, actually, that I started looking around my area for dog-friendly camping areas to take my dog, Matty. Yeah, so, yeah, no, we might be going camping in the future, and you might get a camping video out of me. I don't know if you will, actually, but, you know, you can hope for a camping video. I don't know how I'd film that, but yes, you never know, you might see one. But I really enjoyed this manga. It was really good. I was pleasantly surprised with how good it was, actually. I wasn't too keen on it originally, because when I first got it, I really hate, so hang on, I'll show you that. So I really hate like this kind of texture. It's not laminate, and I'm very sensitive about how stuff I touch because I've got autism, and it makes you very sensitive with textures. At least that's how it affects me. And I don't like this kind of texture because it's really easy for, like, my hands get very clampy when I'm reading because I'm like holding it I hold books very tight. And and then the ink basically starts going off on my hand, and I really hate holding a book that way. Like, for example, this book is laminate, and so it's a lot it's a lot easier to take around with you. It's a lot more hard wearing. Like, if something gets on this, it's a lot easier to clean. I mean, obviously, if it gets on the pages, then you're doomed. But yeah, no. So I just generally like manga that's more laminated. Yeah, but no, it does really put me off when the cover isn't laminate. I have to admit, like, I really dislike it because I've paid all this money for the manga, and for it not to even be laminate is really frustrating because I want it to be protected when it comes to me. Like, for example, hang on. This isn't laminate, and it's already been basically caught at the sides while it was in traveling. So it's very frustrating when that kind of stuff happens. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, it's just very frustrating when it doesn't have a laminate covering. So yes, my detailed ideas of how manga should be presented to me. Yeah, I mean, it put me off, like, reading it for, like, a couple of months. And then I kept looking at it because I put it in my bedroom to really encourage myself to try and read it. And I was like, well, it looks so colourful and it looks so good. And I'd really like to read about camping recently because I was like, I have loads of camping equipment in my bedroom. So, like, I'm just like, I really want to camp. Let's just read about camping, because it means I can't go camping. When I actually started reading the manga, I really liked the relationship between Nadeshiko and Rin, and I feel like there could be a good romance in the future if they're willing to go that way and make it like LGBTQ plus representation. I think they would be really cute. They'd be adorable representation. Like, I think they're probably not going to go that way because it's called Laid Back Camp. So I don't think I think they're just going to kind of, it's very relaxed kind of tone. I don't think they're going to kind of go that way with it. But like, I think they're really cute together. They honestly feel like kind of a couple because like Rin's very shy, but she seems willing to open up to Nadeshiko, and they seem to have like this special connection. So Rin will actually text Nadeshiko when she's out, camping and exploring, which she doesn't seem to do with anyone else. Like, she'll do it with her friend, but like, yeah, no, it doesn't. I don't know. It just feels very intimate between them when she's out in the wild and she's texting. She's thinking about Nadeshiko and she's thinking, oh, I would really like to get better at cooking for camping so that I can give Nadeshiko a delicious meal, like she gave me that delicious meal before. I don't know. It's like generally just thinking about the other person. Like, it seems like she actually does like her, and I'm like, oh, they're going this way with it, because I was just expecting like a good friendship and everything, but like, I'm happy if they go that way, but like, I don't know if they will, because I think the authors probably wouldn't have thought about it that way. Sorry, I got my cat's fur. I've had like cat fur on me today. Like, when I was previously filming this, the cats were on me, so you're going to see me rubbing my nose a lot because the cat's fur is just all over me, and it's making me feel really itchy on my nose. Hopefully I'm not getting cat allergies because I'll be screwed then. Yeah, no, but I also really like how they're kind of shown as two independent women kind of coming together, and just so they can experience the world. Like, they were originally independent of each other, and then I think it just adds like it's nice to go somewhere by yourself, but having someone else to share it with is even better, I think. So I really like that kind of intimacy they have together, because like Nadeshiko is the first person that Rin is willing to go camping with besides herself, and I'm hoping in the future she'll also start going with other people, because I'm really excited to see I'm hoping she'll actually eventually join the outdoor club, and because she seems to be very knowledgeable about camping, and I think that's the kind of knowledge they need. Yeah, but no, Rin is one of my favourite characters in it. I particularly I like how self-sufficient she is, and like how she can go on adventures by herself, because she's found the places. She's done the research into how to get there. She's got the route planned. She's got like a part-time job so she can afford to go. And like, she's got the moped as well. Yeah, no, I really like how she doesn't need a friend, but she's decided she does want one. Yeah, I think it's quite sweet. I also just really like the pace of the manga. Like, it doesn't go too fast or too slow. It just goes at a steady pace. Like, they do go on lots of camping trips, but I think that's because it's the main focus of what they're trying to discuss. And it doesn't feel like forced at all. It kind of is just like, oh, they're just going camping a lot because that's when she likes going camping. Like, she's trying to get as much camping in as possible during winter before it becomes spring and everyone's camping. Yeah, no, it's just, I think it's generally, yeah, it just kind of feels like you're walking along and you're enjoying the journey, basically. I generally also really like the art style and the aesthetic of the manga, so I'll show you it. You can see like it's really colourful, it really stands out. That's the third, is that the third volume? Yes, that's the third volume. And then we've also got the second, this is the second volume. This is the second volume. So again, really colourful. Look, see how that really, like, when you put that away, that would be really easy to see. I've got other manga that just all look the same on the spines, so it's really hard to define them, basically. And see, there's another colourful one. Yeah, no, so it'll really stand out. Hang on, I'll show you. Yeah, so even if it's on your like bookcase, it's really it stands out really well. I'll compare that against, like, in comparison to Strawberry Fields once again, that doesn't really stand out. You need something that's colourful on the spine so you can find it easily and kind of just identify it as the manga that you want to reread. Yeah. So I really like the aesthetic choices. They've also got lots of scenery, and when I was looking up looking up images for this video, I found that the anime is, oh my god, it's beautiful. They need to make a collector's edition of the manga where it's just all in colour, all of the pages. I think that would be so beautiful, like, because then you could actually see the scenery and properly appreciate it, because oh my god, it looks fantastic in the anime. It's all really high definition as well. It's fantastic. I just, oh yes. Like, I'll probably have to put loads of pictures in here because it's just so beautiful. Like, it's oh my god. Yeah, I really love like just general scenery pictures, so yeah, because the black and white doesn't really show that well, and yeah, it really doesn't show it as well as I would think, like as well as the actual colour does. In the manga, there's a couple of, like, every now and then some of the characters are a bit confusing because they will some of them will sometimes have like the same hairstyle, because obviously they change. Sometimes they'll just change hairstyle and you can confuse them for a different character. That's the only problem I have with the art style. Like, there's several characters that seem to have very similar hairstyles, but then when you actually look at the anime, they all have different colours hairs, so it's fucking easier to like identify them. It's so much easier to identify who's who if they have different coloured hair in an anime. Like, it's, oh my god, it's so much easier. But of course, because it's black and white, you can't bloody see that. Like, they just need to start having manga come out in colour so you could actually appreciate it better. Like, comics are in colour. Why not have, I swear, comics are in colour, aren't they? Yes, they are. Yes. The black, Walking Dead's not, but like, hang on. So, hang on, I've just grabbed Umbrella Academy. And as you can see, like, they really use colour as well. And voila. That's really colourful. If they did something like that for the manga, and even just made it a comic so it's easier to produce, that could really do wonders for them, basically. Like, you could really appreciate the scenery that they're looking at and the kind of camp. So if they really didn't want to make it into another manga and have to put colour in, they could make it into a comic and make it colourful that way, so you could actually see all of the scenery and really appreciate the colours. Yeah, but no, I would highly recommend this manga. It's really good. I'm planning to buy the rest of the series when I actually have the money, which is going to be a while. I might have just got a job, but it doesn't start till September, and it's not paying good wages. I'm starting an apprenticeship soon, and the first year of an apprenticeship doesn't pay particularly well, but you get what you put into it, basically. And so I'm going to be gaining a lot of experience in that first year, so I don't mind if I have if I don't have the money. I don't mind not having the money because my dad will help me out. I'm very lucky in that respect. Yeah, but no, hopefully at some point I will eventually be able to buy the whole series. And then I can tell you all about it and tell you how great it is. Yeah. So the next manga we're going to discuss is Strawberry Fields Once Again. This manga started being published in December 2020, and I have read the first 2 volumes. There's meant to be 3 volumes out, and the 3rd volume is meant to supposedly be the last on the series. I'm not sure if it's actually going to be. It does seem like it is. I'm not fully sure. I need to buy the 3rd volume before I can actually... It does say it's the final volume, but yeah, it just seems very strange that they're only doing 3 volumes, basically. It's a really interesting story, so I don't understand why they'd only do 3 volumes. They probably just want to keep it very compact. The story is really interesting as it focuses around a schoolgirl called Akira, who feels like she can never have a 3D romance and is highly influenced by 2D romances that she's seen in the media. Her whole perspective on romance changes when a new transfer student appears at her school called Pure, and she declares that she's Akira's lover from 7 years in the future, and she's looking to help her through her school life. Despite the mental age difference, Pure is actually physically the same age as Akira. And also I think it's important to note, though, that even with the mental age difference, Pure doesn't push Akira too hard to start dating her. She's kind of very accepting that eventually she's going to meet Akira anyway. So, you know, she's like, oh, you know, we can start dating if you want to, but we don't need to. Like, she lets Akira do the first kiss, and she generally does love Akira very much, and that's very obvious in everything that she does. And she does come off a bit strong, but like, I think it's very understandable from how she explains her relationship beforehand. She seems to love Akira very much. And obviously something's happened to the future Akira, which has led her to come to the past. So I think like there's tensions there that she hasn't actually said to this current Akira that she's hanging out with. And I think like that's causing her to be like very loving of this Akira because she misses her future Akira, if you get what I mean. Yeah, no, but I generally feel that this, even though there's a mental age difference, I feel like it does the relationship a lot better than a lot of other mangas, and the manga we're going to discuss in the future is one of them. It doesn't really try and force a relationship between the two characters, especially as one of them is a minor. It just kind of is like, oh, you know, we can do a relationship if you want to, but like, I understand I'm a thirsty bitch, you know? Yes. Yeah, no, but like, I wish there was no kind of relationship between them in some ways, but like, it kind of makes sense why there's a relationship, because they do love each other in the future, and you know, she still has the qualities that are that are in the future Akira. Yeah, I don't know. It's a difficult one with their relationship. It is a difficult one. Yeah. I do also really like that Pure has Akira's best interest at heart. She's not like a toxic relationship like many other paedophilic relationships that I've seen in other manga. Yeah, so she wants to help improve her life. She helps her with her father, her brother, both of whom she's not talking to at the time. She also helps her try and deal with the loss of her mother. So that's, you know, that she's generally helping. She's generally wanting to be a good person and wanting to help her through her issues. So I don't think this is like a problematic relationship. It's kind of a problematic one, but like it's not as problematic as some of the other stuff, or even some of the shit we're going to talk about today. So, you know, it's got a low bar and it's still reaching that low bar. Yeah, I also really like how the manga is very focused on a small number of characters. It makes the story feel very personal and very focused. It makes it clear there's a mystery going on, and you kind of got to you've got to try and figure out what's happening. And I like how it focuses on that. It doesn't kind of veer off and go to a different plot, and it doesn't forget about the plot. It doesn't forget about any twists that it's talked about. It's very focused on its narrative because it's got such a small amount of time to talk about all of this. Yeah, but no, yeah, because there's a lot of mangas that have a lot of characters, but they just lack character development. Whereas in this one, you're getting quality characters because they have a lot of development. I particularly enjoy the character development of Akira because we basically learn in the story why she feels the way she does about love and romance. I'm trying not to spoil anything. I'm really hard not trying to spoil anything because I really want you to go and read this yourself. It's a really good manga. The story is a bit rushed, but I kind of feel like it's understandable because it's like, I kind of like it how Pure just kind of goes out and just like, listen, we're going to sort this out, we're going to sort this out, we're going to sort this out. You know, it kind of makes sense. Like, she's got a short time to do everything. She's like, okay, we're going to get this fixed and fixed and fixed. Because I think she just basically wants to go back into the future, meet with the Akira she knows. She wants to kind of, I feel like that's how she's rolling. She's just, I really like that the manga is representation of a lesbian couple. It's a very good representation, I think, of a couple. Like, they're not trying to, everything's with consent, basically. It's a very important thing, consent. And there's no one trying to force a kiss on another person. They're always saying, oh, is it okay if I kiss you? And, you know, I think that's nice. As crazy as that sounds, you know, asking someone, can I kiss you, is very nice in general. Yeah. Yeah, because like even when Akira tries to kiss Pure at one point, and Pure's like, "Oh, I don't know about this. Are you sure?" And they have a discussion about it. They have an adult conversation about it. It's wonderful. You're gonna see why I'm so happy about this in a second when we talk about the next manga because yes, I have so much rage against the next manga we're going to talk about. Yeah, I'm also very curious to know why the manga is called Strawberry Fields once again. And I hope this is going to be like a reveal in volume 3. Like, I know quite a few manga that are like love stories. Their title tends to be focused on a twist. Yeah, because I think it's related to their the way Akira and Pure originally met. And I think it'd be really cute to see the way they've originally met. I'm really hoping they don't go too dark with it. Like, I'm going to be really upset if they suddenly destroy it in the volume 3. I'm going to be so upset, I'll be crying. I'll just be like, no, please, I thought this was going well. Yeah, but no, it's a really good manga. I would really suggest you read it. Like, I know I haven't got to the end just yet, but like, I'm really worried they're going to screw it up in volume 3, but like it feels like it's going a really good path at the moment, and it's got some really good characters behind it. So yeah, I really hope they do it complete justice with volume 3. So I really need to buy volume 3 soon. I need to buy it. I need to. Yeah. Our next manga we're going to discuss is Sweet Blue Flowers. This manga was published in November 2004 and ended in July 2013. I think the manga definitely dates to the time of when it was made, because I don't think some of the things of the manga would have got through today. The manga is 8 volumes. I have 4 books of it. So Anne, I think the books look like they're about 2 volumes worth of material. So I think that's why they're 4 books but 8 volumes. The manga was also made into an anime in 2009, and it is 1 season, 11 episodes, released by Fuji TV. So the plot of the story is Akira begins attending Fujigawa Girls Academy and becomes reacquainted with her childhood friend Fumi, whom she has not seen for 10 years. Fumi is attending Matsuoka Girls High School and quickly becomes friends with a third-year student called Yasuko. Yasuko and Fumi begin regularly working on a play together called Wuthering Heights, and Akira is brought in to help work on the play. At Akira's school, it is revealed that Kyoko is in love with Yatsuko and basically confesses her love to her. But Yatsuko turns her down and starts dating Fumi instead. The plot starts off very complicated and it just gets worse from there. So that's basically the manga in a summary. Yeah, the plot does not. The plot is very hard to put down. There's a lot of issues with how the manga's written, I feel like. Because there were so many issues, every time I read a new volume, I literally had a post-it note full of stuff. Hang on, so we got that one. Then, another one. Yeah, no, I just got so angry when I was reading it that I even put on them, like, do not read this ever again, because I was so angry with it. Yeah, I started off reading volume 1, and I put it down for like 2 months, I think, because I was so angry with it. Yeah, so I read the first book, and then put that down for about 2 months because I was so unhappy about it, and there were so many issues with it. And like, I kept looking at the reviews, and I kept saying, oh, it's not too bad. The reviews are pretty good, and it's saying it's very good representation. And I was like, okay, I'll pick it back up and have a look at it. And oh my god, I wish I hadn't. Like, I wish I just stayed at book 1, and then I could have been happier. I could have been so much happier. Oh, it's just a nightmare. When I was writing the post-it notes, whilst reading each of the books, I then looked at them at the end, And I realised that, like, basically a lot of the issues I had with it just repeated throughout the book, and it was really frustrating because they never dealt with them, and they never tried to fix them, and it was really frustrating for that reason. Every now and then with an issue, it seems like the writer became more aware of it towards the end. Around book 3, they became more aware of a certain issue, and they kind of would try to fix it, but not acknowledge it at all, which was really fucked up. And I was like, oh, okay. There's incest going on. You're just trying to pretend it never happened in the first place. And you're like, oh no, he's a changed man now. It's all fine. Yes, it was really strange. I didn't like it. I also really didn't like... So, because I had like a 2-month period between the first book and the second book, I completely forgot that Akira and Fumi don't go to the same school. And it's really fucking hard when you're reading the manga to realise that, because they might have different outfits on, but I don't think about that. I'm just an idiot, maybe. But like, I don't know if I'm just an idiot and I didn't realise this. I completely forgot they went to different schools. I don't understand why they didn't just put them in the same school to begin with. It would have made it a lot easier. It would have made the story a lot more concentrated. Like, yeah, I didn't know any other people from other schools when I went to primary school. Like, I just met the people at my school and that's it. I don't know. It's just strange. Yeah, no, I didn't even I completely forgot that they went to different schools until I looked at the wiki to read the plot. And I was like, oh my god, they did go to different schools. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, it made it even more complicated, and I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. Like, I mean, the manga in general, the story jumps around so much that I feel like I can't understand what the fuck's going on. I don't know. I read reviews and they all say that they do understand what's going on. And I'm sat there like, I didn't understand what was going on because it jumps, like, they're mostly never at the school. They just jump around to different events. And you're just like, you're trying to understand what's happening. And you're like, what about all the relationship build up to this point where you're suddenly on a trip together? I don't understand this. Like, I need the build up. It's so frustrating because loads of people say, oh, it's so I can relate to this and everything, and I'm like, I can't fucking relate to this. They keep going on holiday. I've never seen them at school. They keep leaving school. Like, what the fuck? Like, they just keep trying to skip school, and it's really strange. And everyone seems to be gay at their schools, and because there's so many people coming out, I'm like, I don't relate to this. Like, I knew like a handful of people that were gay, and I wasn't even fully sure if they were gay or bi, and I didn't want to ask them because I didn't want to make them uncomfortable. Like, yeah, I don't know. It was so strange. There was a whole plot where Akira and Fumi basically talk about going to London, and then later on there's just a random scene where Akira is like on a plane, and it turns out she's going to London, and then she gets a really bad stomachache, and it seems like she's just basically sent back to Japan, which is really strange. And then later on there's another scene where she's talking to a Fumi, and they're like, oh, we need to go back to London together. And I'm like, what? They didn't go to London together. I thought just Akira went, and it's very confusing. And I'm like, I didn't think even Akira got to London because she had a bad stomachache, which they never bring up why she had a bad stomachache. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I think she was stressed over Fumi and not knowing her feelings for her, but like, it did not make any sense. They weren't explaining stuff well enough, and it just I can understand. I think they probably just stayed at season 1 with the anime because they realised after that it got too problematic. I think they were like, oh shit, it's too bad to write from now. Oh yeah, it's just, you get so much fucking whiplash from all of the stories like jumping around everywhere, and you don't understand what's really going on. Like, no one's character feels like it has any development. Like, you just sat there and you're just like, it's just events happening to people, and they don't seem to change from them, and they're just kind of given a 2D character, and it's just like, how would you react in this situation? I would be sad. Oh, my friend just told me she's gay. I'm unsure, and I continue to be unsure all the way through. Oh, I might be gay. I'm not sure. Still don't know how I feel about gays. Yeah. It's just, they don't have any Like, the people just literally have the same thoughts throughout. And it's just, yeah, it's really strange. Like, I don't, it's really weird. Another problem I have with the manga is that there's a lot of characters, and so it's really hard to remember who the characters are. A lot of them look really similar to each other, and it's just so hard to remember them all. You know, in book 3, they start having some character information at the front, but they don't really update it at all, and like they have barely any of the characters in there, and so I have to keep flicking back to it and trying to remember who's who, and I'm praying I'll find the person, and sometimes the person's not in there, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, girl, but I don't know who you are, and so I can't really be too invested in your story right now because I think you're not going to be a main character. Yes, it's so difficult to work out who's actually gonna stay in it for a bit or who's gonna just pop in for one scene and then go again. It's so hard to understand what's happening, and it's really badly written. Basically, I had this issue when I was reading book 1 that I couldn't identify who the characters were, and I stopped reading because of that, because I was just like, I'm sorry, it's just too hard to follow now, because you just keep flooding in all of these characters, and they just all seem like the same character. Like, I don't know who's who, like, yeah, that's what happens when you just badly develop a character, you know. I mean, I could remember the Black Butler characters better than this one, but that's because I've been reading it for 30 volumes, you know. That'd be ridiculous. I can't remember all of them off the back of my hand, but you know. Yeah, oh God, they really... And then sometimes there was just like a random girl who would declare her love for another girl, and you have no idea who these characters are. And I'm like, oh, this is very sweet and everything, and like, you've found love, but I just have no idea who you are. Which school are you meant to be from? Like, you know, it just had no influence on the story whatsoever. They were just like, it felt like the writer just didn't know what to put in, so just put filler in, and they were just like, oh, we're just going to make up 2 characters, and they're going to declare their love to each other, and that's it. Yeah, it felt like they just used the same thing, and then just possibly changed the characters every now and then. I don't know, like, there seemed to be so many gay characters in these 2 schools, it was unbelievable, and they're still making it seem like it's hot gossip that someone's gay, and I'm just sat there like, everyone seems to be gay in these 2 schools, like, you know. It's ridiculous. The problem with a lot of characters also going in and out of the story was that there was a lot of suggestions of, like, they hinted at, like, some girls liking other girls, but they never really went through with the plot. And I think with some of the characters it would have been really interesting. There's a new girl that comes in halfway through, and she seems to be really interested in Yumi, and I think they would have been really cute together. Like, they seemed really adorable together, and I was like, oh, they seem cute, and because I didn't really, Yumi and Akira, they did seem nice at first, but then when they actually started dating, I didn't like it, and I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe we can find Yumi another character who's more sure that they're gay. I don't know, it's just... Yeah, I feel like some of the suggestions of possible couples could have been a lot better than the ones they actually had. Like, I feel like they were playing around trying to see who people really liked, and then they were like, oh no, this is my OTP. Akira and Yumi are my OTP, and I'm gonna keep with them. You know, they've got to stay throughout the manga. Like, I admit, I like how they focused in on Yumi and Akira in the book 3 and book 4, because it made it a lot more streamlined which relationships were the main ones. But like, after that, we basically just got no other lesbian character. We got no other lesbian couples except from like a couple of teachers, and it was just really weird. It was like, oh, okay, like there's no one else seems to be dating, even though there's several lesbians that could be dating. Yeah, it was just very strange. It just seemed like they forgot about all the other characters. And they're like, oh, you know, just fuck them, you know. Yeah, so I just want to put in a warning here, in case this triggers you. We're going to be discussing references of paedophilia, incest, and abuse, both emotional and sexual. So if you don't want to watch from now, please just turn it off, because that's what we're going to be talking about for the rest of the video. There's a lot of references to paedophilia, incest, and abuse throughout the manga, and it doesn't seem like the writers really realised they were doing it, and it doesn't seem like the readers realised either when you read the bloody reviews. It's very frustrating. I think it's important to discuss why paedophilia and homosexuality is a big problem, like discussing them together. It's because so paedophilia and homosexuality are heavily linked to each other in media, because at one point people believed that people who experienced sexual abuse as a child were more likely to be homosexual, and a lot of people basically blamed that for the reason why people were homosexual in the first place. And I think it's a very damaging notion for those who are sexually abused and those who are homosexual. This is a big reason why there are still gay conversion camps that exist today, because a lot of people feel ashamed that they were sexually abused when they were younger and they are gay. It just further, you're further attacking people that are vulnerable as it is. Yeah, and I do not like when they connect paedophilia to homosexuality. I just fucking hate it. Do not put it anywhere near it because it's bad representation of LGBTQ plus rights. It's just terrible. If you want to put it through, I don't mind if they have it basically as there's a conversation about it in the manga, and they actually look at the issue and discuss it, and people express their feelings about it. But this manga does not do that. That's why I hate it so much, basically. The first problematic relationship we have is between Akira and Chuzi, her older cousin. It's revealed basically that they had a sexual relationship before the manga, and I was not happy with this when I heard about it, because Fumi, when the manga starts, is supposedly in her first year of high school, so she's probably around 12 years old if she's just started a junior high school, which is because Japan has a junior high school and they have a senior high school. But even if she's just started the senior high school, which would have made her 16 years old, it still would have been problematic, because Chuzi was an adult and had just started university when this relationship happened, so she would have been around 18. So she was a consenting adult. Whereas if Fumi was 12 years old, she's not a consenting adult in Japan. Japan has very low standards. They have their consenting age at 13. If you're not even passing Japan standards, then you're fucking shit. You're a pile of shit. Yeah, and I'm really annoyed because they basically it seems like there was at least a 6-year age difference between Chuzi and Fumi when they had this sexual relationship, and that's a clear power imbalance within itself, that Chuzi had all this power and she was staying at Fumi's and she took advantage of that, and it's never brought up. Chuzi's just oh, I really should have loved Fumi more, I just didn't take the relationship as seriously, and Fumi took this relationship very seriously and loved her cousin. Yeah, it's just, I don't understand why Chuzi doesn't recognise that she did something very bad. And she recognises that she just didn't love Fumi, but that's not the point. You sexually assaulted someone, you sexually abused someone. Why don't we discuss this matter? And I also get really annoyed because it seems like Chuzi is put into a better light than Fumi. That Chuzi, the abuser, is put into a better light than Fumi, the victim, because Chuzi ends up in a heteronormative relationship with a husband and a child, and whereas Fumi's still in a gay relationship, so it seems like she's demonized for that, and it fucking annoys the hell out of me, because I just don't understand why they don't bring up this relationship and don't discuss it, because Chuzi was an adult when she was having sex with Fumi, and yeah, there could have been really good writing with that, It could have been an honest point of view of what's it like to be sexually abused. You could have talked about it through that way, and you could have talked about the conflict of her being your older cousin as well. They could have even put some of the sexual abuse into Fumi's character, but they kind of do and they kind of don't. They put it in when they want to, basically. It's really strange. I don't know how the writers thought this was basically okay. Like, I know it's a manga, but mangas are a reflection of society, basically. You know, people are going to read these and they're going to think, oh, it's okay for an 18-year-old to sleep with a 12-year-old, when it's not. It's not at all. Like, that older cousin took advantage of her younger cousin. She should have been loving her as a family member, not as, oh, hey, girl, you look great. Oh, I'm going to fuck you because I'm so bored and I'm doing university. And oh, yeah. In fact, I don't actually really like you. You know what? I'm going to go with this man. I'm going to have sex with him instead and get married. And yeah, we're going to have financial stability and everything. And oh, yeah. Oh, it's going to be so fun. Oh, and oh, look, I'm not demonized as well because I'm in a normal relationship. Whereas you're a pig. You're in a lesbian relationship. How dare you? Sorry, I'm just very annoyed about this relationship. And then like in the two final books, book 3 and book 4, we've previously mentioned that Akira and Fumi start dating, basically. And it really annoys me because basically Fumi keeps saying she wants to have sex with Akira, and it's very uncomfortable because Akira is so confused over her sexuality, and Fumi keeps trying to force her to have sex with her. Like, it feels like she's like, oh no, don't worry about it, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna kiss you right now, and it's non-consenting. Like, it feels so weird. I feel like they could have put like the sexual abuse into Fumi as into her character, and they could have explained it a lot better that way. They don't explain it well enough. Like, you could have said, like, you know, sexual abuse over a long period of time is going to lead to you possibly being over sexual, you know, because you expect because you have these expectations of a relationship which are not normal. You know, you have expectations that you've got to be sexual in a relationship to have the other person love you or something. I really hate the relationship between Akira and Fumi because it feels so toxic. And I know the audience are going to see it as, oh, it's so cute and romantic. I love it so much. They've been working so hard towards this relationship. But when they don't actually see that it's fucking toxic. It's disgusting. Like there's a bit where Fumi is basically forces a kiss on Akira and then has sex with her. And Akira's all the time like, oh, I don't know my sexuality. I don't know if I like you. It feels like, to be honest, they were trying to, what they could have done if they really wanted to. I'm like, I'm now suggesting stuff to them. Like, they could have made Akira asexual. It's a major possible thing they could have had. They could have just had her be asexual and be like, okay, listen, I don't want to really have sex, but I will have sex with you so that you can be sexual. You know? I don't know, the sex scene between Fumi and Akira is very triggering, and like, I don't want to see naked girls that are underage in my manga, you know? It makes me feel very uncomfortable, and I don't know why they had the sex scene. I understand, like, I think they probably had the sex scene for the guy readers, basically, but it was so fucking uncomfortable. And it shouldn't be allowed in, like, Japan anyway to have that kind of stuff. Like, you know, it should be censored, basically. Yeah, no, it was just really weird, the sex scene, because it just came out of nowhere. And their relationship didn't feel like they'd actually reached that point. Like, where they were on the same ground, and that basically Fumi understood Akira. Like, Fumi was basically just raging on ahead, while Akira was like at the back, like saying, I don't know what I'm really doing here. Like, I guess I'll go into this relationship because I want to make you happy, but I'm not really for this relationship, you know? Like, it just felt very odd, the relationship did. I fucking hate it. Fumi should have just gone and found someone that knew they were gay. Like, give Akira time. Don't go in a relationship with her. Like, just say, listen, girl, I understand. I'm putting too much pressure on you right now. We're going to stop talking for a bit. Because, even though you're my best friend, I'm putting too much pressure on you to go into this relationship because because I love you so much, supposedly. And yeah, no, it's just, it was so, there was so much sexual and emotional abuse in this. It was so weird. And then you even see that, like, Akira later on starts feeling Fumi when she's sleeping, and like it's I feel like it's just basically normalizing this non-consent, and it's, you know, consent's bloody important. You know, you shouldn't be saying, oh, consent's not needed. You know, why do we need consent? Well, we need consent because then that's rape, you idiots. You know. And also, non-consent makes people very uncomfortable. It can be very emotionally damaging. But of course, none of these characters are fucking emotionally damaged. You know, it doesn't matter what they've been through. Oh, it's just fucking ridiculous. Another problematic relationship that Akira has is with her brother Shinbo. He's shown as very protective over his sister. And like it comes off as a joke, basically, like, oh no, he's just very overprotective because he's a big brother. But actually, like, Akira even calls him fucking creepy at some points because he's very invasive over her love life. He doesn't want her dating any males, and like it's even seen as the reason why Akira ends up with a woman is because she can't possibly have dated a male because her brother won't allow it. Like, I don't know, it kind of subtle messaging, like, it feels very homophobic, basically. Shimbo is like, he constantly he constantly tells males to keep away from his sister, even when she's on a bloody singles night where she's actually meant to be dating boys and like seeing if she finds anyone she likes. You know, what the fuck? Like, you just respect your sister's privacy. Respect and consent are very important, people. Very important. Very, very important. And then the writers are like, oh no, Shimbo's not that bad. We're going to put him in a relationship with Miwa so he stops seeming so creepy to everyone, you know? You know, readers are uncomfortable with this. You know, we're going to have to put him in a relationship to just kind of, to calm him down. You know? Yeah, and then in the bloody description they're still saying, oh, has he really changed his mind? Oh, I don't know. It's just another plot. It's another plot thread left open. It's very strange. So another paedophilic relationship that's actually in the manga is one between Yasuko and her teacher Masanori. Yasuko is meant to be around 17 years old when in the manga, and she's had romantic feelings for Masanori for a number of years, since she started at the high school. She admits her crush to him, and all he does basically is reject it. He doesn't really sit her down and discuss why it's wrong and like why it'd be inappropriate for them to date. And he also just continues to flirt with her. Like, he causes so many emotional problems by continuing to flirt with her and just seeing no problem in it, basically. It's so emotionally manipulative. I was so upset because Yasuko later on comes out as bi, and I'm just like my bi girl. I was so upset. Yeah, no, it's just, I don't understand. If you're a teacher, you know, she could have gone to the police about this, and say he's like being very inappropriate and got a restraining order on him. He would have stopped being a teacher immediately after that. You know, he could have. Why is he fucking threatening his job? You know. They're basically making it seem like every single teacher is a paedophile at the two schools. It doesn't make sense. And then on top of this, as well as flirting with Yasuko, he's also actually engaged to her older sister Kazusa, and basically this causes Yasuko is in such a turmoil about all of this that she actually ends up moving to London because she basically can't stand being around him, and she can't stand constantly thinking about him. She can't basically get rid of this love for him, and you can understand why, because like she's been emotionally manipulated to think, oh, you know, I should love him. Oh, he keeps flirting with me. He obviously still cares about me, even though he's with my older sister. And he's also, there's like a big reveal at his wedding that he's also done this to another sister of theirs, Kuri, who had feelings for Masanori too when she was being taught by him. And like she never admitted her crush to him, but like all of her sisters know about it, and like they just seem to accept it, and they don't seem to realize that he's a fucking predator, and he should have lost his job. He should no longer be a teacher. I don't understand why the older sister, the Kazusa, is still marrying him. Like, she should be slapping him and trying to kill him, basically. I would have tried to kill him by this point. It's so fucking frustrating. Like, none of the sisters seem to understand, like, that this is a major issue. Yeah, I mean, although they might not care this is a big issue, because the final sister of Yasuko, Shinako, is actually casually mentioned to like boys, young boys. Now, I think in the manga, like it says that she likes young boys in the manga, but I think it actually means that she likes young girls, because literally she's actually dates another student, which is highly inappropriate for a teacher. You know, think of it like this. She might end up giving that person better grades because they're dating. You know, she might end up giving someone else a bad grade because they're dating and that girl doesn't like the other person. You know, this is highly manipulative. And also, you could say the teacher could be like, "Oh, well, I'm not going to give you a good grade unless you have sex with me." You know, that's very manipulative. And Shinako seems to date regularly schoolgirls throughout the manga, which realistically would never be allowed. Like, they're trying to... People reviewing this manga keep saying it's realistic. It's not fucking realistic. There would be so many of these people in jail by now. Or I hope they would be in jail, because if they're not, then these are terrible schools. And these are, like, private schools and stuff. So, you know, it's just ridiculous. There's also, like, with Shinako, there's quite a few girls that basically... There's, like, every single volume, there's a girl that confesses her feelings to her, and often she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I can't date you. I would really like to, but I'm actually dating another female student at the time." And it's like, that's not the way you should be handling that. You should be sitting them down, explaining why it's inappropriate, and also saying that you don't like them, and that, you know, maybe, oh yes, you could lie and say you have a husband instead, you know, or a wife. You know, it's just ridiculous. None of these paedophilia, none of it seems to be recognised by the writers as problematic, which is very frustrating to me. Yeah, they don't try and... I mean, how can it be seen as normal? Like, I don't think this is seen as normal in Japan. This is definitely not seen as normal in Japan for a student to be dating a teacher. Yeah, and I know it's obviously like a manga where the readers are trying to be, like, where the readers are mostly young males. But, like, this is terrible. This is giving them terrible life advice on how to, like, oh, you want to date younger girls? Become a teacher, and then you can fuck all the young girls you like, you know? That's the kind of message it's giving, basically. So now I'm just going to give another pre-warning, a trigger warning, because I'm going to be talking about biphobia, homophobia, and n-biphobia. N-biphobia is a prejudice against non-binary people. Homophobia, there's a lot of girls in the school that are very shocked when someone comes out, which is very strange because there's so many girls that seem to be gay there. You know, you could still be shocked if you want to, but like if you're gay and you're shocked that someone else is gay, that's kind of strange. Like, I don't know. I know there's like... I know they're trying to basically put a shock factor in, and they're also... They're trying to show internalized homophobia, but they're not doing a very good job of showing the internalized homophobia. Like, Akira is one of the best examples they have of internalized homophobia. But there's no... They just kind of just say, oh, I don't really know if I want to date another girl. And they don't really go into much details other than that. You know, if someone was having real internalized homophobia, one of the things I know I thought of when I was I had internalized biphobia is, well, it's like, oh my god, I can't date another girl. Like, I can't possibly date another girl because I'm never going to be able to marry them, you know? Or like, I don't know, like, or like you could just be disgusted at yourself, basically. There's none of that happening in the thing, and there's none of that happening in her thoughts. And like, she's supposedly struggling with the idea of being gay, and then so magically off screen she accepts that she's gay and comes back at the end saying, oh no, I do want to date you. Our relationship was very toxic, but I'm willing to go back into it, you know? Yeah, the homophobia, like, it's really badly done. Like, they seem to try and patch it all up at the end and be like, and basically be like, oh no, we're all very accepting now. Look, there's a gay marriage happening that can't really happen, but you know, it's not real legal marriage, but we'll just celebrate anyway and celebrate this partnership with a fake marriage, and it's very strange. And there's a gay adoption as well. Well, yeah, which is quite cute. I think it's a gay adoption. Yeah, but no, it's just very strange how they discuss homophobia. Yeah, I don't think they did it very well. Like, they should have actually talked to people who had to deal with homophobia and internalized homophobia. Yeah. There are also some characters who are suggested to be non-binary, and I think it's a major shame they didn't actually outright state they were non-binary, because I think it would have been really interesting to explore. Yasuko, who plays Heathcliff in Wuthering Heights, she's chosen to be Heathcliff because she's seen as very masculine, but she also has lots of feminine traits as well. And I think, like, it would have been very interesting to have a story of her deciding she's like recognizing that she's non-binary. It would have been a really interesting story, I think, and they just kind of lost out on that because they didn't think about it at the time. Like, this book was going until 2013. Like, it could have been progressive enough. Like, yeah, you know, you could have made some major headlines with like having a non-binary character, you know? Yeah, I mean, admittedly, there's not many non-binary characters in manga even now, so I understand why they didn't put her in, but like, I don't know, it's just, the problem is with it that it's also kind of seen as a joke to her three sisters, and like, they perceive her as overly emotional, and I don't know, it just rubs me the wrong way, because I don't like how they're basically disregarding that she has these masculine, she understands she has these masculine qualities, and she also understands that she has these feminine qualities. Like, why can't you be non-binary? Oh, it's a joke, ha ha ha. Yes, it's very funny that someone's going through emotional turmoil because they're having identity crisis. They're having an identity crisis. Oh yeah, go and laugh at your sister, you know, while she's crying in a puddle of tears. And yeah, and she's like, the other thing is, she's shamed by her family for being bi. Like, her sisters keep asking her why she's changing sides, and like, they do mention bisexuality at least, which is a good major point. I'm pleased about that they do actually mention that she might be bi. But like, yeah, I don't like how they talk about how she's bi. Like, it just doesn't seem to be very accepting, basically. Well, it is accepting in a way, but because they're not making too much of a big deal out of it. But they just seem to see it as a joke, basically, as well, which is very frustrating. Like, oh no, I'm heterosexual today. Oh, now I'm gay. Oh, no, I'm heterosexual. Oh, I'm gay again. You know, I don't like that kind of stuff where they just joke that you've got to choose a side. My general feelings about this manga, I would generally say I would never suggest this for anyone to read, and I'm really disappointed in the manga considering how highly recommended it came to me. It was very highly recommended from all of the reviews I read. So hang on, we'll have a look at, according to Wikipedia, Erica Friedman, the president of Euricon, and ALC Publishing reviewed the anime and manga and praised the author's original cover and interior art from the manga, and its art style. They also praised the story for far surpassing most Yuri in general, due to its character-driven story, which, yeah, was really character-driven, you know? Like, the characters that were just so bland, they never developed. And, yeah, it just described it as basically aesthetically pleasing and simple. Like, it was a simple fucking like, it wasn't a simple manga. It had so many plots and so many plots dropped that it was not simple. Like, it was so confusing, it didn't make any sense. Oh, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, basically, Friedman really, really liked the manga, and it really annoys me that she did. Yes, and like, this is someone who's president of the Yuricon, and is a big figure. She even called it the best Yuri anime of 2009. Like, the anime, I've supposedly been, like, from what I've read, because it's just the first book, and the first book was problematic in itself, they basically got rid of a lot of the problematic content, but like, they still had the relationship between Chuzi and Fumi in it, so, you know, that still would have been highly problematic. I don't understand why they're still saying it's a great manga. She even called it one of the most realistic portrayals of a young woman in love with another woman ever seen in an anime. Like, I don't know. Like, this was in 2009, so that is, like, that's 12 years ago. But, like, I have found reviews from more recent that were just absolutely... They still basically were highly praising of it. I got one from, like, 2018, and it was still fucking praising it. I think people should go back and look at it a lot more critically nowadays. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, people should look at it more critically nowadays. The review from 2018, it should have been, like, they should have actually looked at the problematic content. I don't know. I don't know if I've just completely misunderstood the manga. I feel like I've completely misunderstood the manga, but, like, I don't understand why people aren't using their common sense to realise that this is a problematic relationship. And yeah, I mean, like, I understand if you're a teenager and you don't get it, like, you haven't realised this is a toxic relationship, because I didn't when I was that age. I read quite a lot of problematic stuff at the time, and then I rewatched it and I was like, oh shit, this is really bad. Like, I rewatched it when I was an adult because I'd loved it when I was younger, and I was like, oh, this is really strange. The woman really likes young girls and is working with young girls. Oh no, like, yeah, no, yeah, I don't know. I generally don't like how paedophilia is connected to homophobia so much in manga, and I think it shouldn't. I think it's giving LGBTQ plus a bad name because of it. Like, why do you need to connect them so much? Why not have a heterosexual relationship with this paedophilia? If you really want to put paedophilia in, then just put a heterosexual relationship in. I mean, we've got one example of heterosexual relationship where it was paedophilia, but then we've also got like 2 other examples of where it was homosexual paedophilia. Yeah, I don't know. I would say, to those who are saying it's great representation for LGBTQ plus, are fucking wrong. Yes. Anyway, have a good day. Take care. Please leave comments about this in the below me. Yeah, I would like to hear your comments on this and ideas of how you feel about the manga, especially about Sweet Blue Flowers. Yeah, because I don't know, I might have just missed something. I feel like I might have. Yeah, I know with my autism that I can sometimes zoom in a bit too much in certain areas. If I start disliking something, I'm going to continuously dislike it. If I really like something, I'm going to stay with it forever. Like Black Butler. I dislike Black Butler now, but you know, like I still watch it because I'm still a big fan of it. Yeah. Yeah, no, yeah, definitely please put your views down below. Because I would really like to see how other people feel about this manga. And especially if you've read it before. Or if you've watched the anime. I'd like to know about the anime, because I haven't watched it. So, yeah. Anyway, have a great day. Take care. Bye.